I'm telling you right now, the waiting is the hardest part. My friend Michelle Geyer, the owner of Salty Tart, one of the best bakeries in America, the expanding
Yes.
Salty Tart. I could go on and on and on about Michelle's accolades. Google that. We are just thrilled that we have someone of her talents here to teach me something that I'm really not that good at, which is baking. I know how to do 3 or 4 things. I do them really, really well, and that's it. That's where my knowledge base sort of stops.
We're gonna make pie, caramel apple pie.
Caramel.
We're gonna add to your repertoire of
Right.
desserts.
Okay.
And you're gonna be able to nail a pie. Mix all the dry ingredients into the bowl. Pastry flour. I like half high gluten flour because I think it adds a chewiness to the crust. So now let's get the butter going.
Cut your butter into cubes.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm assuming it's easier to mix.
That's right. We're gonna add salt.
I just
Yeah.
go in there.
Just start, yeah.
And now
And so you want to do this between your forefinger and your thumb to make little pieces.
Oh.
Also, I put sugar in my pie dough. It needs just a little bit of sweetness.
My whole life, I just went in and, see, I did the guy thing. I went cowboy style. I'm gonna I'm gonna squeeze this. And it actually is much less effective than breaking up the butter with your forefingers. It's like milking a goat.
If you've milked a goat before, then it's milking a goat.
I've milked a goat before.
Never have I ever. So I'm gonna put my vinegar,
Yep.
which helps with flakiness, as per my grandmother, and we're gonna add the water. Can you see it come together?
But if you squeezed hard, it would come together completely. We're just
Yes.
not doing that because we're trying to be gentle with it right now. It's like a baby.
Yeah, no cowboys.
No cowboy style.
No cowboys, just babies.
So do you know how long it takes me to shower in the morning? Like 7 seconds, because I have no hair and I don't use shampoo. So I just get in
Boom.
hot water, soap everywhere, rinse once,
Dip in.
done, and it's cowboy style. Cowboy style. I'm able
Everything,
to
all
accomplish
day
a lot
long.
because I'm not like in the shower doing my hair.
Sprucing.
Well, that comes after. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big sprucer
You
once
like a
I get
primp.
out of the
You
shower.
like a primp. Okay, so now we're gonna put these in packages, and I like to make my packages thin and round.
Wow, see, this is the thing. People, myself included, we don't realize how forgiving this actually is.
Yeah,
this is a pretty loosey-goosey, no stress.
Dough.
So it's warm and soft, so we want to hustle this.
Into the cooler.
Now this is firmer. It's been in there
Yep.
for a while.
There's a lot of dough here. This is gonna get
2 or 3.
this big. So I'm just gonna kind of. We always want to make sure that our surface is nice and floured because you don't want it to stick. We want to keep it going in the round shape because that's the goal. Give me that high 10.
Is
and
it
then,
like this?
Yep.
Like Grandma did?
And then I usually do like 2 inches. And always go bigger, right?
Because you can always
trim, yeah. Put it into place. So now we're gonna refrigerate this.
Beautiful.
So you can start peeling the apples. And I'm gonna start the caramel because we're gonna layer the apples with the caramel sauce. So we're gonna start with a clean pot and clean sugar. Do you know why?
What do you mean?
I don't want any fat. I don't want any dirt
Okay.
or debris. That causes crystallization.
Yep.
So now we're gonna add just enough water, and I like to add the water around the edges.
So you don't splash sugar up on the sides, and then it's another way the crystals form.
That's right. Agitation causes crystallization.
We don't want to agitate,
No.
because then we crystallate.
I like to, after I peel the apples, do it on a mandolin because it's really fast.
Yep.
And it makes them all uniform, right?
Yep.
Because I like thin slices of apples that are all like layered. So when you cut down into the pie, more
Stunning.
layers. We're all about the layers
Right.
here. Okay, check it out. Put an eyeball on this. You see how it's getting thicker and it's almost kind of starting to turn amber. And I was successful with no crystallization because I was deliberate with my sugar and my water, with my clean, all my things. And now you can kind of see it is starting to turn brown.
And you have the larger bubbles, which shows you that the thickness is there.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna give it a little swirl. And I want a nice golden brown because I'm putting it in the oven. It's gonna cook more. Oh, look, And you can smell it too, right? So we're using
it's
all our
gorgeous.
senses, right? All right, so I'm gonna add my heavy cream. So I'm just gonna give a little stir, bubbles, little stir. Look at that beautiful caramel color.
And now in goes.
Some butter. All right, back to the pie. The next thing we're gonna do is lemon juice. Some sugar, our cornstarch. The cornstarch is a thickening agent that keeps all the slices and all the goo together. Nutmeg. and a little bit of cinnamon. So now we're gonna fill this bad boy up. Go ahead and start layering those apples in there.
Now, I would imagine you want them...
Slow your roll, pump the brakes, little buddy. So
I
now...
can't just do it cowboy style. Oh, I forgot about our caramel.
Right. So I rolled out a nice long sheet because we're gonna do a little lattice top. I like them thick because I think it just looks a little bit more rustic. I always take the longest piece to go down the middle and then the shorter pieces along the side. I'm gonna cut off all the excess. So I like to egg wash little sides so that they all stick. And because we're gonna egg wash.
And that shines it up too?
Yes.
And it's just beaten egg. You didn't add milk or cream or blah, blah, blah.
No, it sounds like another step. No one's got time for another step. So I'm just gonna make sure that all my edges are together. Okay, now I'm gonna tuck it under. Okay? What? Yeah, tucking under.
Oh, all the caramel, all those juices, you actually need that crust there because you want to eat it with all that sky-high apple caramel goodness.
So now we're gonna do the crimping.
I'm so bad at this. You want to know how I do it? I go empanada style.
With like a fork?
With the fork, or sometimes Chinese dumpling style.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah, but I want it to look like that, and now I know it's
just your fingers and your thumb. I like a little salt on top of my pie crust too.
preheated oven. You like it in the middle?
I do.
Okay. The apple's got to cook.
The cornstarch has to cook. That's what we're...
It was a trick question. I was trying to see if you knew, and you passed. Yeah, I mean, we saw the juice coming out in the corners, and more came out as the pie cooked. The apples kind of collapsed underneath, which is gorgeous with that lattice crust.
So I'm a big fan of color, so I love all this.
Yes.
A lot of people would be like, oh, too dark. I love it.
Oh my. I mean, not that I doubted you, but look at that.
All those layers.
Oh my God.
And now the more you make it, the better you're gonna get at it.
We are so lucky. SaltyTart.com, Michelle Geyer, thank you so much, I love you.
Thank you for having me.
You have inspired me and see, we can all learn together. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not of weakness. You just fold up the edges and slide it onto a baking sheet and throw it in the oven. It's super, super, super simple. I'm gonna put my 2 sugars into this pan over medium heat, and I'm going to put my butter right on top of it. I love making apple desserts. My favorite apple dessert is a tarte tatin. This is way easier. And the most important thing, of course, is just get as much peel as you can out of that. Core it, push that out. Take a paring or utility knife and just trim anything out of there. If you see some seeds, trim those out. Now that's a Granny Smith. This is a Braeburn. That's a beauty. Once you've peeled them and cored them, a nice slicing knife, like one of these. This is an all-purpose Damascus steel Nakiri style knife. It's a Japanese name, and it literally refers to this snub nose, and it is the ultimate vegetable and fruit utility slicer. So this is uniform all the way through. So it's beautiful for cutting crispy items like this, right? And all we're doing is slicing those apples because they're gonna get soft in this caramel. Right now we're making a broken caramel. And then when it boils with the apple juices, the caramel will bind. We'll season it with the pie spice, and it will go in to a rolled out sheet of pastry. That's this one. So there I have one of each type of apple already done. Now I have some of these ready to go ahead of time, and I want to use, let's just say 6 apples. I want to show you more specifically what I'm doing. I am not putting the nose down and slicing like this. It hurts my wrist to go up this high, and I run a risk of cutting myself. This is where you need a stable knife that has no bend in it versus one that has a bend in it. And I simply push my knife straight through, because an apple isn't that hard, versus a push stroke that I would on a tomato or a grape, something that's firmer on the outside than it is on the inside. Whipping cream, creme fraiche, vanilla, powdered sugar, electric beater. And this goes right back into the fridge. Toss your apples, promote even cooking. And I have this on just in between medium and high. So we're gonna get that to sort of rapidly cook off. And now that I have moisture in there, I'm gonna throw in some of my pie spice. All right, always better to work with cold pastry. Always flour your cutting board. Now, it's not required that it be perfect, but by constantly flipping it, we will get a uniform thickness, and that is probably the most important thing. Get this as wide as you can, and if you notice I've stopped flipping it, you want this a nice thin pastry shell, rubber spatula. I'm gonna stir this so I get all of that caramel and sweet spice. Put this into the middle in a big mound so I can spread it evenly. I'm just doing my best, and this is a casual, easy, rustic preparation. This is not a fancy one. I'm not a pastry chef. All you wanna do is leave a nice 2-inch barrier there, and then just fold this up. But you can see how simple and easy this is. That, my friends, is it. And then 1, 2, 3. Now, a word about the edging. I'm just gonna use a little cream and egg yolk mixed together, just about equal portions. I just like the way it looks when the edges are nice and shiny. And then into my 400-degree oven in the upper third, and let that bake until it's done. You do want to bake your pie crust until it's nice and brown and crisp. That'll take 25, 30 minutes, and then let it cool and slice it, and you are in apple galette heaven. I mean, you see, just one egg yolk and a little cream just on the sides, just to shine it up. So let's try it, shall we? Obviously, first bold cut, second bold cut. Just be quick and sure with it, right? That's all we want. Whipped cream and creme fraiche. Boy, I'll tell you something. The French are great at a lot of things. This is one of them. Wow. A simple galette, a couple of very easy slicing techniques, and you will be able to master this. Oh, this is absolutely out of sight. Award-winning baker Zoe Francois, best-selling cookbooks, Bread in 5 Minutes. I'm also someone who desperately needs coaching and learning about baking.
True.
Wow, that was fast.
We're gonna do a roasted pumpkin chocolate swirl bundt cake.
Ooh.
Start with butter. So just grab a hunk of this and really get it in there. Put it right into all of these crevices.
You do have to take your finger and
That's
go
right.
into every single place so that it doesn't stick when it comes
Right.
out.
That's pretty good. I
think
see
it's
one
good.
spot.
Do you, where?
This.
I wanna
right
see.
Here, right in here.
Oh, you know,
Just
saying
like in
you're-
a little
you're
bowl.
right.
See how thick that butter is on there? If the butter isn't thick like that and you can't see it, your cake is gonna stick. With the Bundt pan and this thing coming up in the middle, it's a little awkward to flour it. So I just take a little sifter, some flour, and that way you can get all the nice grooves. If you don't tap it really well, you're gonna end up with blotches of flour.
Oh, those cloddy
Yep.
kind of bits.
So just, and that's it. So
Oh, that's
that
nice.
way you have very little flour left in there, but enough that it's not gonna
That's
stick.
perfect.
Now we gotta make the cake. Brown sugar,
Yep.
regular granulated sugar, and then oil.
Mm-hmm.
You do that.
And you just want this incorporated?
Just mix it together.
Yeah.
Put an egg in, and you can keep whisking.
All right.
And you wanna put your eggs in one at a time.
There's
And
probably a good reason
Yeah.
to do it one at a time.
for this cake, honestly, it wouldn't matter. We could do that. For some cakes, you don't want to add that much liquid all at once, especially if you're using butter. If your eggs, first of all, aren't warm enough, they're going to seize up
Okay.
your butter.
Gotcha.
But also, it's really hard to incorporate that much liquid into something that's solid. While you're doing that, I am going to mix together the dry ingredients. So I have my flour, just all-purpose flour, allspice, and ginger, some nutmeg. So for baking soda, it tends to clump up, so I like
deal.
to sift it and just whisk it all together because you want to just make sure that your baking soda is evenly distributed. In here we have our pumpkin. So for this pumpkin, what we did was we took a sugar or pie pumpkin. You don't want to use like a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin because they're like tons of water and they're sort of trash for baking. You just cut this in half, put it face down on a baking sheet, roast it at about 400 degrees just until you can poke it and it's soft. I don't even take the seeds out because once it's roasted, those seeds will just sort of scoop right out of there. Take the flesh out and then just puree it.
You nicely pureed this. This
thanks.
is lovely.
Some richness with the sour cream. Whisk that all together. So this, we're just gonna dump this in and you're gonna fold that in. You just
This-
wanna mix it until everything is smooth. Oh, look at this, we forgot our vanilla. Let's
Okay.
toss that in.
We're streusseling?
We're gonna streusel sugar, flour, cinnamon, because you'll notice we didn't put cinnamon in here.
Right,
I
right.
don't wanna
So you're
overdo
layering
it.
flavors instead of just dumping everything in as one.
That's right. And really what we're recreating here is pumpkin pie spice, cocoa powder.
Ooh, there's the chocolate part.
Yep. So this, we just want to mix this all up, and then we're going to put that butter in. We're going to mash this all together until it's not powdery. Okay, so there we go.
Perfect.
When you squeeze
And
it
it-
all comes together, but it still looks sandy.
Yeah,
And that's what we want.
the color has actually changed, and that's another clue that you're on point. This is going to rise, so no
Yes.
one should go into panic and say, oh,
Yes.
I made a half batch.
Right. Oh, because it's not coming up high enough in the pan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why we've buttered and
Yes. The whole
floured the sides. This is our last layer, and then it will be on the bottom when it flips over.
That's right.
There is a little bit of batter there, there's a little bit of butter there, there's a little bit of streusel there.
Yep.
Do not clean it off.
That's
it will
right.
prevent it from rising. Don't try to correct your
the
mistake.
other problem with wiping anything else is you're gonna wipe off the butter.
Right,
And then it might
right.
stick. 350 degrees. It's about an hour and 15 minutes.
It's cooled, it feels right,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be blamed if it doesn't, even
I'll
though
turn it
I buttered and floured.
Voila. That's it. So because you did all that gorgeous buttering and flouring.
I was gonna say, oh, and look at the swirling.
Yeah, you can see that swirl. You could put a glaze on it, but I actually like the simplicity. That same spice mixture, we
Yep.
just mix with a little bit of confectioner sugar, and then we're gonna take our little strainer. We're going to
That's a pro tip right there. Yep.
do a little dusting of our powdered sugar, and you can go as light or as heavy as you want.
It's just a
with
stunner.
this.
I think that's gorgeous.
You want a big piece or a little piece?
A little, because that way I won't feel guilty about
When you
seconds.
have.
Gosh, it is so moist.
And this is one that's gonna be really nice even a couple days from now. Not that it'll still be here.
This is not gonna last a couple minutes from
No,
now.
but
Are you
these cakes
kidding
really
me?
do last a while, and you could bake this ahead, like if you're having a party around the holidays. This is a good one to bake ahead.
My God.
I know. Love you, dude.
I love you, dude. Huge love and a big thanks to Zoe Francois for coming by and creating this exclusive recipe. If you'd like more information about Zoe and all the books that she's written, all you have to do is go to zoebakes.com. See ya. Thank you.
Thank you.
What are we doing this week on Spilled Milk? Well, I'm making my Aunt Suzanne's pecan bars. Buttery, luscious, brown sugary, caramelly, crunchy, sticky toffee pecans with beautiful flake sea salt. And what's so great about them? Well, they come together in about 45 minutes other than cooling time. Everybody loves them, and I always post about this when it comes to the holidays. But why not post this at after school time? These are great snacks. You can keep them in the freezer. You can make multiple batches. You can get ahead on that holiday cooking. So the first thing I do is I make my crust, and I've put a half cup, which is 1 stick, of salted butter cut into pieces in the bowl of my standing mixer. Half cup. Then I add 1 cup of dark brown sugar. I like the dark stuff. Makes a big difference. A lot more molasses flavor. And then I add 2 cups of flour. And I like to do it in that order because I have less poofy flour going everywhere. And then I place my paddle attachment on there, lock my machine, and I turn this on very slowly. You just want to mix it as slowly as you can for about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. And you just go nice and slow. You do not want to go any faster than that. And by the way, if you can go on your slowest attachment, go ahead and do it. The one issue with the lowest attachment is sometimes it doesn't combine as fast and you'll have to just keep it on there for a little while longer. But you're just looking for the butter to incorporate so that you get a thin crust that is spreadable in the bottom of your baking pan. So after about 2 minutes, we unlock this and remove the paddle attachment. And we have something mealy that just sort of sticks together, almost imperceptibly, right? And that's what we're looking for. Because the caramel that we're gonna pour on top of this is going to be the thing that really binds it all together. Next step, pour the entire mixture into your 9x13 baking pan. And I just gently press down on that just to make it uniform and even. The caramel plus the heat of the oven will melt that brown sugar and butter, and it's going to make a perfect crust. It doesn't seem like a crust now, but trust me, it's gonna be a crust. Now the next thing I wanna do is I wanna sprinkle my pecans, 2 cups, into the bottom of the pan on top of that crust. Now, a word about 2 cups of pecans, or pecans, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter to me. Pecans typically come in 16-ounce bags. That 16-ounce bags is a weight measurement, not a volume measurement. Cups are a volume measurement. And in a 16-ounce bag of pecans, you have about 2 3/4 cups. And even though there's a couple extra in there, I mean, 2 cups by volumes works, but I like it a little nuttier. So I like to put in the full bag, right? And you'll see, I just gently press that down. I'm not really putting a lot of weight on, just gently pressing it down so that those pecans have a little bit of stability in there. And then I set this aside. Okay, now here's the fun part. I have 2 sticks of salted butter in the bottom of this saucepan. That's a cup of butter. I now have 3/4 of a cup of that dark brown sugar. I'm gonna stick that in there as well. And I'm gonna add a teaspoon or 2 of my homemade vanilla extract. Homemade vanilla extract is, well, I shook it so it's hard to see. It's really easy to make. I just put rum to fill this container, and once a year you can see the vanilla pods in there. I split them, scrape the seeds, and I just keep topping it off with rum, and every couple of months I throw an extra vanilla pod in there. And I've had this for about, I don't know, 14 years in this jar. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of vanilla in there. And then we're gonna get this on the heat. We'll bring it to a boil and we're on to the next part. Now here's where things get interesting because it's all about the science of baking. And when we're boiling sugar and butter and making caramel, pay attention because this is where it gets pretty precise, and I recommend that you stay, the first time you make it, spot on according to the directions in the recipe and don't vary from it, because there is a chemical reaction, a certain heat level that we're waiting for this caramel to develop so that it gets a really sticky, crunchy, toffee-ish quality that is soft enough to chew through, but hard enough to bind together for the pecan bars. We're gonna bring this mixture to a boil, And what's going to happen is the butter is gonna melt, the brown sugar is gonna melt, it will eventually come to a boil. It doesn't take that long. I've got it over medium heat. You know, you wanna break up the butter, go ahead and do it. But once it boils, you want it to just boil for about 60 or 70 seconds. And the marker that you're looking for is that you're gonna see it become homogeneous. In other words, it won't look like melted fat in sugar anymore. It's going to be homogeneous. And it's gonna start to climb the walls of the pot. That's why I use a large enough pot here. It may seem too big for some of you that I have such a little amount of mixture in there, but if you put it in a small pot, it can tend to overflow. So we're just gonna bring this to a boil, cook it for about a minute, and after about a minute, you'll see it start to climb the sides of the pot. Okay, so you can see here, the butter is melting, but because there's so much butter in there, it kind of looks, well, it's not homogeneous. The melted brown sugar is on the bottom, the melted butter is on the top, but once it boils, it actually liaises. That action of the boiling actually creates a homogeneous caramel mixture. It's really, really, really fun. I just love this part of the cooking process. This is my favorite moment because it looks like 2 disparate items, fat on top of sugar, but once it gets to boil, it actually will emulsify itself. And I'm just gonna let you watch this happen because this is really, really, really fun. Don't be afraid to stir it, but it still looks like fat on top of melted sugar. And then watch what happens. All right, now it's starting to boil everywhere, right? And we'll just let this go for about a minute. See what I mean? Look at that. It's becoming homogeneous. It's emulsifying.
all we're really doing, if you make candy, you know what I'm doing. We're just waiting for it to get to a certain temperature, and it's a range. You know, candy making is very, very precise, but I think even you can see right here on the spoon, it's a homogeneous mixture. In the pan, it's a homogeneous mixture, and it's starting to climb the sides. And we are exactly at 1 minute. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly pour this all over my pecans, trying to get it as even as possible. And if you do it quickly enough, you can even scrape the pan. And you can see there, we have a nice homogeneous caramel sauce that's going to bind those pecans and that crust together. And then I have some really super premium flaky salt that I use just for things like this, and I absolutely love the contrast and the crunch that this gives. Those little flakes are absolutely ideal. And now this goes into the oven. Preheated 350-degree oven. Open it, slide it in, shut it, and you want to cook this for exactly 20 minutes in a 350-degree oven. Now, every couple of months I throw a thermometer in my oven to make sure that when it says 350, it actually is 350. If your oven is slow or hot, it's good to know, because you want this to cook at 350 for 20 minutes. So if your oven is slow, you're gonna wanna cook it for 22, 23 minutes. If it's fast, you wanna dial that temperature down, because you want it to spend that time in enough heat so that the candying process takes place with that caramel, right? You don't wanna cut into it and have goo pour out. You want it to be a stable, crunchy, but soft enough to chew toffee is essentially what we're looking for. And you can't really temp it, right? But you'll see at about the 18, 19 minute mark that we actually start to get a little bit of bubble on the top of that caramel. We know it then is rising in temperature. And then when we pull it out and we cool, we know that we can slice it into pecan bars. I'm not trying to get too technical. This is like super simple stuff. You just want to make sure when your oven says that it's 350, that it really is 350. I'm telling you right now, the waiting is the hardest part. There are 5 minutes to go, and you can see the top is starting to simmer. It's candying, and it's just moving along perfectly. That's what you're looking for with about 5 minutes to go. Oh, there's the dinger. See what I'm talking about? Just perfect. And we're just gonna put this on a cookie rack, let it cool, and then we'll start slicing. After 3 hours, it is cooled. And you really do need to let it sit for 3 hours. This is so molten hot, and even though it's only about 1.5 inches thick, it really holds its heat very well. And it's easier to cut, and it's easier to make it just look nice when it's cooled all the way. So a lot of people just like to bang on this and invert it onto a cutting board, and that's not right at all. You're gonna damage your nuts on top, and quite frankly, doesn't that just look perfect? I want that to look nice. I mean, obviously, when we cut it and then cut it into squares, we're going to, by its very nature, be rustling the nuts, as it were. That's a great name for a podcast, isn't it? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a slice down one side, deep enough that when I take that bar line out, I can get a spatula underneath it and begin to shimmy it and essentially lift the whole thing out, invert it on my hand, put it on my cutting board, and get cutting. Pretty easy. And now we can really cut this into squares. Notice that I'm taking this thumb, and when I place the tip of my knife on the edge, and I know that I'm the right size, right? I'm not measuring, but I'm going about 1.5 inches square. I have this thumb pushing this way towards the front of the knife safely, so I can come down and lower the heel of the knife down to cut through all the way. I'm going to eat this entire thin edge myself as soon as I am done talking to you. So I hide my ugliest bar. This one I just miscut. No big deal. They're all delicious. But I'm going to hide all of these on the bottom. Right? And then I have 5 times, probably 5 strips. And I'm going to get, I'm guessing 5 squares out of each one. And there you go. Aunt Suzanne's Pecan Bars. Super, super simple, super, super easy, and just effing delicious.